Hello and welcome along to this new video. In this video I'll be reviewing the 1975 classic Jaws on 4K. I received this in the post yesterday and I watched it immediately. Me and my wife sat down last night and watched it. I just basically drank in the picture quality and I've been really dying to see this. I was probably wanting to watch this film for a couple of weeks and months, but I held off. I didn't look at the 4K when I got it. I just put it straight in and was just in awe of what I saw. The picture quality is pin sharp. Could it be the best ever Blu-ray released? Possibly. Also the audio on it, which is that we chose the Dolby Atmos track, it's not a comparison to the 7.1. I know it should be close, but it's not. For me, everything in it was better. It was more immersive, more wider. It was just more involving, and I found that constantly I was in awe of what I was seeing and what I was hearing. The pictures, the picture quality, it's got a bit of grain in it, but it has to have grain if you want to have sharpness on the picture. You've got to expect a slight, and I mean a slight bit of grain. It comes in certain parts of the film. It doesn't detract from anything. I don't mind grain. If grain is treated right and you know that you've got a little bit of grain in, it means you know that you're in for a good sharp picture. If they got rid of the grain, they get rid of the sharpness. So for that reason, you have to accept it. But to be honest, it's neither there here or there. It's very in a small amounts. So the 4K, I chose the regular slipcase version, which was £20. Could I have went for the better version, a Steelbook? I'm not a fan of Steelbooks, which is a bit strange. We'll get onto that. But it's just a regular 4K version. You get both discs in there. You get the 2012 Blu-ray. You get that disc in there, so you're not upgrading on your Blu-ray. It's not a new master, although the master was done in 2012 and it was done to such a high level that there was no reason to go back and redo that one, because that one was just unreal. If you go on YouTube, you can find a restoration process for Jaws, how they did it. I think it's about 9 minutes long, and it really puts into perspective on how much time they took on remastering and cutting this 4K. But so, well, basically you've got everything in here, and I chose a slipcase cover because I was a bit unsure. Do I really need to get another? Though it's one of my favourite films of all time, do I really need to get another? Super duper version, big box. This to me is. Will do just nicely. It fits on the shelf. It's obviously space. When you're a collector, as you know, space is an issue. But this, I'm more than happy with this, and coming in £20 on release, that was great. So, like, we'll get back on the subject of double dipping. I don't like to double dip, but sometimes you've got to. Really, this version is now defunct. Everything in it is in this version now, the Blu-ray and that. I don't like Steelbooks because they can, although I'll keep this as best I can, they get scratched. And it's just one of them things where, unfortunately, the Blu-rays, the Steelbooks seem to sort of, I know I can get covers for it, but for me, I do like this Steelbook. I'm not going to say anything else about it. It is a very nice Steelbook, but just thought I'd show you that because but basically for me, if you ever wanted to get Jaws, go for this one. You will not be disappointed. It's got Dolby Vision Hdr 10 Plus, so it covers all the spectrum of picture quality enhancements that you can put on. The HDR and the colours of people's clothing is unreal. The reds, the clothes, whether it be in the 70s, you get a lot of weird and wonderful clothes, and those clothes just reach out in the screen and they pop. There's so many scenes that benefit from this 4K transfer. The print is obviously pristine. There's not a blemish on it at all. The nighttime shots, the underwater shots, you can just see everything. The first kill with Chrissy when she gets in the water, the water just looks really good. The end shots, the end scenes when the three go out into the boat, all the scenes on the boats look fantastic. The water, you can see every detail in the water. This film has my favourite scene of all time in any film, and it's when Quint is on the boat and he's eating his biscuit or his water biscuit, whatever he's got, and the line starts to click. So Quint, who's looking forward, just starts to look at this line clicking, and he starts to chomp on his biscuit, and then he puts all his clothes on without the other people noticing what is happening to himself, and they've got the music underneath, you know, sort of building up, and that with this sort of like guttural rumbles of that every time the shark comes, obviously you know there's going to be some cello on there, but there is a bit cello underneath it, and that is my favourite scene in any movie. And if I can get back to when I first saw this film on release in 1975, I saw it twice at the cinema. First time I saw it with my mother, and I was seven, and I pretended going into the film that I wasn't going to be frightened. She was petrified. And after the first couple of strokes on the cello, I was petrified. She was petrified. The jump scenes, she was screaming. I was pretending not to be frightened, and I was petrified. But that was the start of getting into the cinema to see a film that you'd never seen before. Bearing in mind this was probably about a PG or an A at the time in the ratings. They would have given you, it's just amazing what you can see in this film for that. I know the rating is now 12, but and it might be for a few bits of bad language in the outtakes. But for me, this film is a horror film. It's scary as hell. It still gets the hairs on your neck going at times, and it is a thrill ride, and it is to me, is it a perfect film? And I'm going to say yes. There's nothing bad you can say about it. Yes, the shark, spoiler alert, the shark is rubber. Don't tell anyone I told you that. But that doesn't matter. You don't see the shark for the first hour, which I think is a benefit. Obviously, you know that for the reasons of it being the shark didn't work, and they had to come up with ideas to shoehorn this shark into it, but without actually, because it wouldn't work all the time, so it would only work in certain scenes. That's widely known, but everybody knows that this film, everybody who's seen it would agree that this film is a well-made film. And just think if it's Spielberg's maybe second film that he ever made, the amount of the sort of cinematography and pure film making that he's put into this is it can never be surpassed. My wife said to us last night that they should never remake this film out, which I totally agree. They could never top this film at all. So I thoroughly recommend this. I don't think anybody could find any problems with it. The 4K Ultra HD has got to be the way to go. There is some bonus scenes on it, bonus features. You get the making of Jaws, which I think is, you correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You get the making of Jaws, which is a full-length, feature-length documentary, which is brilliant. You get The Shark Is Still Working, the impact and legacy of Jaws. Jaws the Restoration, that feature is great. You can see it on YouTube if you wanted to see it before you bought this. Deleted scenes and outtakes. The deleted scenes are quite good actually. There's a few on there that I don't remember seeing before. I must have seen them before, but I don't think I have. And you get the original theatrical trailer. So yes, so a few shout outs to be had. I'm going to say that Holgoss 73, who is going to take a form of a sort of like a wingman on here. He's got a vast knowledge in movies in general, and I'm sure that if anybody's asking any questions about anything, Jaws or any other films that I'm putting on here, he could add some valuable information. So don't be surprised if you get the odd reply of Holgoss 73, and he comes in with a few tasty morsels or little, if somebody's asking about different releases or cuts or whatever, he can add some great stuff into the mix, which is it's a welcome addition. Also, Korashia Ichi, obviously you're a fan of your audio, so I can say to you on this one, I know that you like what your audio described, and you will not be disappointed with this audio mix. And I'm sure you were saying that you've got your Jaws coming, or it's going to be coming, or you've got to hear this soundtrack here. So thoroughly recommended. And also Gary Turley, who's been commenting quite a lot on my videos, and I know you're waiting, like we've all been waiting, well some of us have been waiting for your Jaws. I hope it's turned up. And I'll tell you what, when you put this into play and you watch it, you will not be disappointed. Okay, so on that note, also as well, on my opening credits, I have put a link to my handle on Instagram. So feel free to pop over to Instagram, have any discussion with us. Usually on Instagram, you'll find out a little teaser or a little trailer or a little snippet of what you can imagine, or an outtake which can go on there, so you can see different things. You can also ask questions if you want to shout out, or you want to do even if you want to talk about what you would like to see in there, or you can talk about problems with the presentation of the video. I know there was an issue with the last one which was too low in the mix, which was fair enough. That was my fault. I mixed it wrong, but hopefully that'll never be happening again. But I appreciate people telling us that these things aren't totally correct. So I know I'm waffling a little bit, but anyway, 100% recommendation for this. And is it the best ever 4K transfer? Well, I think it just might be. Don't forget to please like and subscribe, and also let me know what you think. Put something down in the comments there and tell me what your views are on this absolutely first class release on 4K. And that being said, I will see you guys on the next video.